Regular meeting into order, our city meeting today, November the 11th, 2014. I'd like to go ahead, and I know we've already done our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance, and if it's with permission of the commission, I'd like to go straight into the agenda. The next item is our public, actually we're starting at, Mr. Rodriguez, what time? At 6:53, thank you. We're going to go straight into public comments. I've got Ramiro Trevino. A, presentation of a plaque to Precinct 2 Commissioner Tito Palacios by Chief Garza. Go and have Commissioner Palacios come forward as well.
Mayor,
Good evening.
I apologize at the last meeting when we introduced the trailer that Commissioner Palacios helped us, assisted in getting it. I was out of town attending the Civil Service Conference. So I invited Commissioner Palacios to this meeting to give him a token of appreciation plaque with, it reads like this: we present this Outstanding Appreciation Award to Hidalgo County Precinct Number 2 Commissioner Hector Tito Palacios in recognition of his distinguished service, loyalty, and generosity to the City of San Juan Fire Department.
Thank you, Commissioner. We appreciate you being here tonight with us as well. Would you like to say some words? Get by the microphone so we can catch that.
The agenda, but just to bring
As
you
a
up to
public
date,
comment.
bring you up to date, the project that we have on Cesar Chavez was completed today, except for the striping, pero it's paved. So.
That's Thank you, Commissioner, and for that good news as well. Under B, presentation of the proposed increase of the city's fees. Mr. Gomez.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commissioners.
Good evening.
Before we get started, I'm going to pass the presentation. It's not in the packet, so just for you to keep. Thank you, sir. Yes, Mayor, City Commissioners, and we basically, it was a group project. We got together with the different departments from the City Secretary, the Planning Department, Police Department, the Library, Parks and Recreation. And we took a look over current fees that we provide to our citizens. And just to give you a point of reference, the last time some of the fees were updated through an ordinance back in 2009. So it's roughly about 5 years that we haven't kind of taken a look and take an increase. And so just to provide you some feedback, let's see, let me turn the page here. Yes, the city issues permits and provides services to the general public that creates cost to the city personnel time, advertising, supplies, postage, and travel. For example, someone change request permit, whenever there's I guess a customer and applies for a permit, there's a cost involved, and that cost has to do with personnel hours, surveying the property, advertising, and also doing mail-outs. There's postage involved, and so that's basically the city defrays some of the cost to the permit. And additional permits, just to give you a point of reference. Let's see, it's not working. Do you mind changing it for me? A conditional use special permit is another, as an example of some of the cost involved that, we have manpower going and look at the business and the new businesses, basically see how they operate. And so there's, again, personal hours, there's mail outs, there's postage, there's travel cost. Can you go to the next one? And also on the Parks Activity Registration, the Parks and Recreation, we have fees that we charge, for instance, football fees for registration, volleyball. And so there's a cost involved. There's clerical support, there's maintenance, there is referee fees, and also we provide insurance through this. And also, for an example, the football program, the city purchase equipment, helmets, shoulder pads, and to be able to you give it to the registrants. And so it's some of the costs involved that we don't really hear much, but actually there's a cost involved. Do you mind going to the next one? And also there's rental facility fees. Whenever we rent or facilities, there's a cost as far as the maintenance, there's utilities involved. And so what I want to provide to you is analysis, just to give you some feedback, a point of reference from what other cities charge. And the first page on that analysis is the planning department. And as you can see on the top, we have the electrical subcontractor license fee. Currently is $50. We propose an increase of $60. Alamo is a little bit higher. And so, in the second one that we're going to take a look at is the occupational license. We currently are charging $30, and we'd like to increase it to $40. And as you can see, the Alamo is still well below what Alamo charges. And of course, the reinspection fee, we're currently $30, and we'd like to increase it to $40. Zone change request is currently $200, and we would like to increase it to $300. A conditional special permit is $200, and we would like to increase it to a new fee of $300, keeping up with Westlaco, and which is going to be a little more around the average. And a variance request is currently $200, and we'd like to increase that to $300. And the FAR is a little bit over, so we're still below that. And also, the subdivision application is currently $400, and we'd like to, increase it. We propose to increase it to $500. Okay. On the next slide, we have alcohol fees. We have a new fee, proposed fees. The wine beer retailers off premise increase it to $60. The wine and beer retailers permit $175. The beer retailers off premise to $60. The beer retailers off premise wine and package store $150. Beer retailers off premise license and package store to $500. Mixed beverage permit, it's every 3 years. After 3 years, that's the fee of $750. Average cartridge, that's to $150. And the premise retailers, dealers on premise late hours, $250. Package store testing, which is $25, and the food and beverage certificate for $100. On the next slide, we have, let's see, Parks and Recreation. We currently basically have a $25 increase. We currently basically collect, and we would like to increase to, for instance, the youth football to $60, youth soccer registration fee of $30, the youth flag football, $30, youth basketball to $30, and basically all the way down to the swimming summer program activity fee. And so again, this is just to keep up with the cost that, the city defray some of the costs that we incur by providing these activities. We don't want to present these numbers just to increase the fees. We believe there's a legitimate cost that the city is incurring. And so being a financial person, I think it's a good opportunity to take a look at these numbers, maybe not increase it all in once, but basically we take a look and we can decide whether to do a portion of it or, you know, as a process. But at this point, we're gonna present it to you all at once, and hopefully we can initiate something in the near future. And this is the rental fees for Amigos del Valle. This rental fee of security of $80 proposed fee from $60. The rental to $700 from $500. The day rental to $500. Nonprofit from $50 to $350, and the employee rental from $250 to $350. Okay, and our last slide is on the police department report. To $5 to $6 increase, it's only $1. The library cleaning disc from $1 to $1.50. And the library card, I guess there's no increase, but whenever they lose the library card, the second time around, increase it to $2.50 from $1. And the third time, basically, you charge $5. Again, you know, I just want to talk briefly that, you know, we're going to keep about 25% reserves. And at this point, you know, which additional cost involved, insurance, manpower, that's what we want to present. Okay, any questions you have?
Go ahead.
Do you have, I guess, a report on what the actual increase in revenue is going to be? I think like on some of them, it's a little more quantifiable. For example, on the Parks and Rec fees, because we pretty much know how many kids we've registered this year, and if we base it on that, even knowing that every year it increases a little bit, but we can quantify there. But I guess on others, like, you know, the licensing, you know, the increase in rental fees, I mean, how much do we think we're going to generate in revenue by that? I'd like to see that before I make a decision. It's just me on my own. Everyone else may have a different opinion, but I'd like to see what the potential increase in revenue is. It worth the effort to increase? And then I want to really focus on the Parks and Rec fees, particularly on the youth football. There's a different price, and I'm not sure what it is, but if you do tackle football versus flag football, it's a different cost, and here it's listed as the same. So I know that for tackle football it's more than $25, so that's not accurate there. I guess my biggest thing is particularly on the youth Parks and Rec side. I find it a little bit even harder to increase those fees because I see how many kids we have in our program. If we increase the fee, how many kids are we going to lose? Because when we look at the fees for these programs, particularly when you look like at the baseball, the girls softball, once they advance, they travel, so they have additional expenses, and so it just gets really expensive, and I'd hate to discourage anyone from participating because we're raising the fee. So I'd like to really see what's the potential increase, and not just on Parks and Rec, on all of them, but I find it a little bit harder even to agree to an increase on the Parks and Rec side, because I see, and Commissioner Garza can share his thoughts on that, because I see him out there a lot as well. A lot of these kids, their parents already have a big burden because there's specialized equipment that they need to buy, cleats and things like this. It's already a very expensive activity, and so I'd really like to see what the increase what the benefit would be to the city on that before I could even consider that. But again, as well as on all of the others. And then, like I said, this number at least I know is inaccurate, so let's make sure we can get that the correct one.
We'll review it and give you the most correct information. And we provide you some sort of revenue. See, it will the projected revenue with a new fee tax effect. See what the difference would be.
Yeah, exactly. Like especially when we look at library disc cleaning, if we're gonna increase it by 50 cents, I mean, how much are we really, you know, is that gonna bring in several $1,000s, or is it gonna bring in a couple of $100 more? As opposed to if you increase it, are people gonna even, they're gonna say, ah, never mind, it's not worth it now. Just some things to consider on that.
You mentioned that you did a cost analysis. Actually, I see a cost comparison.
Oh, comparison, yes.
I didn't see a cost analysis. And if you look at page on alcohol increases of fees, on your comparison, we've got, when it comes to the beer retailing, on-premise license, premise wine only store packages, on those, we don't have any comparisons. I'm not really sure what we're comparing it to on those particular line items. And so when you talk about some of these, there's major increases on some of them. I'd like to know, when you said and you talked to the department heads, this is what it costs us to generate a, let's say, a variance. This is the kind of work that we put into it. So therefore, we know that we should be able to recover the cost if we increase it, rather than, well, Alamo charges this, so I'm going to charge this. And if you look at across, then, you know, we comparable to Alamo because they have a different cost maybe to themselves than we do in the comparisons. We compare to one city in one and one in the other. I think to be on a, I'd like to know as we discuss costs, especially some of the ones that are going to be much higher, that we do a cost analysis. And before we double in some cases, or we are increasing by a larger percentage than what the norm or the averaging that you're doing. Because I don't want to appear as we're just being random. And I think we do need to be able to have those numbers for all the different things you're proposing for comparison. I think you're comparing just our neighboring communities. We don't compare to Mission. We don't compare to McAllen. And what kind of they generate. They might have a lower cost because they have higher volume. So I think that as you look in your comparables, as you're talking to the department heads, you know, what exactly is the cost of us doing it? That might be a fair way of looking at how we operate. And then when we decide this is what it is cost to us, now let's compare it to the comparables. And where can we be able to still provide the service, make some profit, and not, you know, be discouraging, you know, some of the investments that the people that want to come to the community may want to make. And then on the Amigos del Valle, I don't know how often it gets rented. I think what I like to see is if it's rented very often, then, and the demand is high, I can see us asking for a little bit more. But if we're not renting it out continuously and starting to increase it, we may just phase ourselves out. So I'd like to be able to see how many times we rented Amigos del Valle before we go to $700 to make sure that it is being asked for and people are going to, because I think it can generate us some good money because there is needs for that. But how are we advertising well our Amigos del Valle, and are we going to deter? So I'd like to find out on that one in particular, how many times this past year did we rent it? So that's my feedback on that. You know, we just saw them right now, so it's just kind of in passing what I can see. I think there are some that do need to be adjusted, but I like to have all the numbers available to make a good, sound decision, and something based more on reasoning than kind of some of them look a little bit arbitrary.
And basically our presentation or basically is to communicate and maybe start the, you know, basically the conversation about, you know, maybe looking at these fees. And I mean, I know that we probably don't want to increase each one of them, but basically we can take a look and start the conversation. Maybe in the near future we can do that. That's the whole purpose of it. And so we'll provide some of the revenue analysis with a proposed increase, see what the projected revenue would look like.
And cost.
And also in some of the cost, and see what would be the average time and some of the cost involved. We'll do our best. I guess, you know, there's some tangibles and intangibles cost involved, so we'll do our best to kind of give you some average concrete numbers what we present to you. And so we'll continue that on the process.
Any other comments or questions, members of the commission? Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Presentation update on water. I'm gonna do something. I've got Mr. Ben Martinez is still waiting. Now, we might spend a little time in some of the discussions with you, Mr. Cruz. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into the next item, and I'll come right back to you updating us on the water plant. Under item D, presentation on proclamation proclaiming November the 1st of 2014, Dia de los Muertos. If you can come forward, Mr. Martinez. I know there was other folks that were collaborating, but we'd like you to be present for this proclamation that we were able to do. And this is on November the 1st, we had the final ceremony on the event, and I know that Commissioner Garza Ramirez was present, and this is in collaboration with the IMAS, where Mr. Martinez is from, Consulate of Mexico, and we did have the consulate, Mr. Erasmo Martinez, present. And we also had the Basilica. Of course, we had Father Armador, who hosted us there on the grounds. And we had members from the EDC also who helped in coordinating. So I want to go ahead and read this proclamation officially, and then give you a little time to talk about how the artists were communicated about their experience here, if you allow me. This is a proclamation that was done on November the 1st. We're ratifying this one. This is for Dia de los Muertos. Whereas Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, is a holiday celebrated November the 1st. And throughout Latin America, El Dia de los Muertos is celebrated, but is celebrated and is strongly associated with Mexico, where the tradition began. And where Dia de los Muertos honors the dead with festivals and lively celebrations, a typical Latin American custom that combines indigenous Aztec rituals with Catholicism brought to the region by the Spanish conquistadores. And where the city of San Juan, the Consulate of Mexico, the International Museum of Arts and Science, the Basilica of Our Lady of San Juan del Valle, a national shrine, invite the community and the media to participate in the observance of this day, Dia de los Muertos. And whereas a group of young artists from the state of Oaxaca, Mexico, recreated a 3D sand painting honoring the life of Father Maria Aspiazu, an OMI and Oblate, who was a key figure in building the basilica and the vision of the basilica. They use sand and pigments and flowers and other materials to create the artwork that was presented and exhibited from November the 1st through November the 9th. So therefore be it proclaimed that today, I, San Juanita Sanchez, Mayor of the City of San Juan, along with the Mayor Pro Tem Armando Garza, Commissioners Mario Garza, Jesse Ramirez, and Heriberto Suarez, celebrated November the 1st, 2014 as the Dia de los Muertos, along with Our Lady of San Juan del Valle Basilica, the Consulate of Mexico, and the International Museum of Arts and Science. Mr. Martinez, you want to share a little bit about the artists that created this incredible art?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to talk about this experience. It was a fantastic opportunity for everybody that participates, in particular the five artists that came from Oaxaca. They are very happy and proud about this kind of activities here in San Juan. They mentioned to me that it's not only about to come and visit and know new people. It's about education, art, and culture, traditions, our own roots, sharing with everybody else. We know perfectly that there is people that cannot go to Mexico and to be part of this kind of activities over there. So for us at the museum, it was a fantastic opportunity that the city of San Juan, the Basilica, the Mexican consulate, and all the participants in these activities help the community, help the artist, help the art and education to bring this kind of things to this community. As I mentioned before, it's not only the museum, it's not only the city, it's everybody working together. So I want to, in the name of the artist, I want to thank everybody that provides the opportunity to do this here. And they told me that if you need them to come again, they are very happy to do it again. They consider San Juan not only another city or another place in Texas. They consider the people from San Juan friends, brothers, sisters. And for sure, they want to come again, if it is to do something like this, or just to visit and be part of this community. On my side, and I think I'm talking about, in the name of the people from the Mexican consulate also, it is a pleasure, it is an honor to be working with people like you, with people like those that are living here in San Juan. And I want to thank you for the opportunity in the future, tomorrow, next year, in 10 years, to continue doing something like this, not only just with me, but with everybody. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez, and for all your collaboration. Okay, going back to item C, presentation and update on the water plant number 2. Mr. Cruz.
Mayor, City Commissioner, I submitted a memo with the schedule of what's happening and what's going on, and also the schedule of the project from start to finish. If you want me to, I'll go through it, or do you want ask me some questions on that memo?
Get to the point where we've last thing we talked about was that it was getting really slow at starting. We can talk about where we are now and what does that mean as far as their time and completion.
Well, we're still concerned. Actually, if you look at the memo, the work update is what is concerning us. The new roadway, the entrance and the existing plant has been cut out, and they've opened up a new entrance. They've started working on the excavation of the foundation, which was of the filters, which was done incorrectly. We had them redo it. Now they're starting to do it again. The existing storeroom has been demolished. The piping relocation and foundation excavation for the new chemical building is to follow, and it hasn't begun. One thing that we have is the submittals. Submittals need to be done timely and early because a lot of this equipment has to be ordered. So up to date, there's been 11 submittals. 8 have been reviewed and returned, and 3 are currently under review. The 3 that are very important have been returned to them, which is the equipment from CB&I, Chicago Bridge and Iron, which is the actual plant and the clerical part, the filters, and the water storage tank. The tank is going to be out there. So those have been submitted back to the contractor. Now they need to work with them to get them fabricated. So that's done. Now, today we're going to send a letter to the contractor because today was a very good day out there. Tomorrow's supposed to be worse, and there was no construction. Nobody was out there. So we have a letter that I was trying to get with the chief here. When we can get together with the contractor, this is going to be to Michael Smith. He's the owner of Texas Descon. Requesting a meeting. I got with the city manager so we can set a date. We're going to set a date. We talked about Monday at 10 a.m. And I would like to invite at least one city commissioner to sit in this meeting, which we're going to call it for Monday at 10 o'clock at City Hall. And we do have concerns. We've been asking for a schedule of values, which is the value of the whole treatment plant, the whole $8 million that's going to be spent, and an approved project construction schedule, which to date we don't have. And we're very concerned of that. We need a schedule from the contractor of when things are going to get done and the schedule of values. That should have been done actually from day one, and we're still here and we still haven't received it. So I will get this letter out. I just got with the city manager right now or earlier. We got the date. I will send a copy of the letter to every commissioner on an email. What we're going to send to the president of DESCON.
That is Michael Smith, right, you said?
Michael Smith.
So do you, Is there communication with him, with you regarding explanations of what's happening, and they're been made aware, or are they not communicating with us at all?
No, they're sort of communicating. They've had some project, a superintendent that was out there, and he's not the superintendent no more, he's another guy. Now they have another superintendent. It's hard to see who's exactly the guy that's in charge. They need to have one guy there 100% of the time, which is the superintendent of the project. And the project manager can be a project manager of this plant, school, whatever else they got, and they can be in charge of several. So we don't know who is that one. We sort of do, now we do, we think we do. That's what we're gonna try to iron out everything. Look, this is what's going on, and we're really concerned.
We have a member of Texas Water Development Board
Yes.
being there for the meeting also?
Yes, he's copied in the memo, Mr. Juan Santana,
Okay,
and, he
That's
will-
that's the local guy, right?
Yes, the one from Hardin. And he will get a copy of the letter also. I think we're still okay. I'm not saying we're, but, you know, it's just hard to, when there's a good day of construction out there, good sunny day, and we know what we're heading to tomorrow, that there's nobody working. You know, that's what concerns. Other than that, we are, the submittals are starting to come in, and the projected work is down here, you know, in the last paragraph. The Clearwell and Clerical foundations, the mechanical piping, all this can be done now. Underground electrical, there's a lot of that. The foundation for the filters, and the completion of the roadway, miscellaneous site work, all this can be done right now while they're waiting for the Claricones and the Clearwell to be fabricated, and the filters.
do you see them working, trying to get it to do this, or just saying this is what they should be doing?
No, they could be working on that
Okay.
right now, because I think that what they might say is that, well, we're waiting for this equipment to come in. Well, there's a lot of
Okay.
work to be done. When the equipment gets here, foundation has to be poured, they put them on top.
Sure.
And the piping has to be already in there. So that's where I know that the clerical fabrication takes about 8 months. So they might say, well, we'll wait 2 more months, but we don't want to wait. We gotta, on a good day, when the weather permits, we need to work. So I will send a letter out tomorrow, and I'll copy each commissioner. And if we can have at least one on Monday, I know it's hard to get out at 10 o'clock in the morning, but just to listen in and to the seriousness of what we expect from the contract.
And then you'll update us again in the next meeting from what happens in the meeting.
We do have a scheduled meeting tomorrow, Thursday at 3 o'clock with the Water Development Board contractor, but we don't, at that meeting, it's not like this meeting that we want for Monday. It's a little bit different, and we don't expect Mr. Smith to be there. Actually, he's never been there. So, but this one we're demanding he be there on this.
Thank
Do you
you.
have any questions?
Any questions from anybody? Thank you, Mr. Cruz. E-presentation and update on Noche de Paz, Mr. Rodriguez.
Mayor, Commissioner, good evening. We're going to pass out a couple of handouts. One is going to be the master task list of how things are progressing with the Noche de Paz. And then the next one is information on the cook-off. I have Mr. Tapia here, if you want to come up here, Mr. Tapia. We have our board president of the EDC here.
Barbecue guru.
I'll let him touch up on that in just a moment. What I wanted to do, if you go to the first page, you'll see the red check marks, and the red check marks indicate that task has been completed. On the first page, the work in progress is the event map. Myself, Mr. Rene Jaime, Ruben Rodriguez, Chief Tirso Garza, and Captain Cáceres went out and walked the area this morning just to get an idea of how the setup's going to look and how much space we're going to have. We realize that we're gonna have more than enough space there in the park to do some of the things that we wanna do. So, there's gonna be plenty of room there and plenty of room for parking also. So, we'll hopefully at the next, when I come back to you again, we'll have a map. And so you'll be able to see how things are gonna be staged at the municipal park. The second one is we'll also provide a map of option B in case it rains, what it'll look like downtown. So we'll have two maps for you to look at. If you will look at the second page, we've been discussing the parade route, the street closures for the parade route. Right now, that's still a work in progress. And Mr. Jaime, I think he's here with us. Mr. Jaime, can you join us up here for a second? Can you join us? Right now, we're looking the parade route. We've got considerable interest from the schools and surrounding, or in the clubs that are involved with the schools, especially the high schools. We're looking at shortening the route of the parade and beginning the staging area, which would be on 11th Street, 11th to Sam Houston.
What time is the parade projected to start?
We're going to start right at sunset, which would hopefully be around 6 o'clock, Mayor, as soon as it gets dark, because it will be a lighted parade like we've had in the past. And so we want to look at, right now, again, it's still a work in progress. We're looking at taking it all up downtown, all downtown San Juan up to First Street, and then making left First Street and ending there at the park. And they can offload the children off of Oblate right there into the, we're still talking to the Basilica to see the kids can park, or they can park in there and just unload and then leave from there.
Talking about where the soccer field is, in that area? Unload the kids there?
Right in that area. Well, turn to the north. They're going to turn north.
Oh, okay.
North, on Oblate. We want them to kind of end there so that hopefully they'll come on over and join the festivities that we have going on. So right now we're still working on that, but I wanted to ask Mr. Jaime, I know how many folks have we had already that showed interest? At least 15? That's Mr. Rodriguez said. Schools parade?
Yes, definitely.
15 to 20 folks already wanting to join the parade, not counting our city departments and things like that, and yourselves. I know that y'all join the parade or have a float. So it's going to be a real nice thing. And we want to do is, like I said, to begin right at City Hall, Mayor and Commissioners, and go all the way up. And keep it short for the kids, because that's a long walk. Because we used to start it back here in Carmen and walk up all the way. And this way we keep it nice and manageable and compact. And so we have everyone. And then it gives the crowd, the sidewalk is very wide around downtown, so they can enjoy the parade. You know, there's plenty of room for everybody. So that's the thought process. It's a work in progress. We'll get back with you with the final details. But we wanted to do that so that we don't leave out downtown. I know that Mayor Commissioner Eddie Suarez was talking about, you know, we can't leave downtown. We've got to do something downtown. And for right now, that looks like a good thing to include the downtown area and our vendors, our business owners downtown. And again, option B would be if it rains, it would come downtown. Probably back up the parade route so they would end like we've done in the past, right there at Railroad Street. So that's the plan right now for that. Is there any questions?
Yeah, you see me thinking. Keeping in mind that the Basilica and the Shrine, if we're going to be going through the streets for First Street, they have services going on, and they use the parking in that area. So if you may want to tell them way ahead of time so that they can start letting their folks know what they can and cannot use and how they're going to be routed for the services. But I know that both of them, and I know that St. John's, of course, feeds out through First Street. They've got a 6 o'clock service ending at 7, so you want to be sure we let them know. And then, of course, our residents, because the folks that live right along will not be able to exit at all, so giving them enough time to know that they would not be able to leave their homes.
Yes, ma'am, and we're going to cover that in just a minute, but yes, we have a plan to notify everybody so that they'll know when, and I hadn't thought about the church and the services, but we'll include that in there. The next one is the crowd control and security. Again, that's why the PD and the fire department, we went out there and walked it today to see what would be the best route for ambulances to get in and out. So we figured out a pretty good route. Like I said, we'll bring the map back to you so you can see it. So we're looking at, Chief, the exit, some of the ambulance is going to be on what, 2nd Street, that entrance?
It would be off of, at the parking lot to the west. So they can get out to, off of business. We're gonna centralize it, have the units ready on that side and then personnel inside the actual event. We could borrow probably one of the cars, ATVs from the city of McAllen, that stretch, in case we need.
So we went out again, walked it today, just about every square foot of the area there, just to make sure that we encompass everything there. So that's been done already. The residential and business street closures prior to the event, again, Mayor, you alluded to it earlier, and we've got a plan to do that. And we're going to be working, letting the folks know through a letter. We'll do the code red messages, the water bills, receipts, and then of course the Facebook. And then that's not to include that the water meters and the inspectors go door to door and letting folks know. And we want to do that about 4 days before the event starts, so they'll know that with plenty of time this is what's going on. And with the church, if we need to get to them sooner, we'll get to them sooner. And the water bill, and just letting them know that part will be closed for a certain time. We also discussed the command center, the lost and found. Again, Chief and the PD were out there, Captain Cáceres and them, and they've already secured a location there. And again, we'll map that out for you. The main stage, we're ready to go there. Everything's locked up. Everybody looks, like I said, looks very positive. Everybody's going to be there, and we hope to have a big crowd. We did find out that we are going to need a generator just for the stage and the bands. So we're going to have to add additional, I think it was, does somebody remember how much that was? I think like $500 to $1,000 for an extra generator. So we'll be incurring that extra cost. We're currently on the next page. If you'll turn it, it's the Winter Texan Breakfast up on top. We'll have that the first week. We're still, we've already talked to the EDC has already got with Pico de Gallo, and we'll be having that. But we'll also do it this year is just be more aggressive with our Winter Texan parks and get out there and really let them know that we have this Winter Texan Breakfast and invite them out to the Noche de Paz. We want them to come out to Noche de Paz and to join us out there. So you'll see that a little bit more aggressive there in getting out to our mobile home parks and our folks out in the community. The second one is the vendors. Pretty much that has been handled by planning. Ms. Janie Soto does a wonderful job there managing this. It's a tough job because you have a lot of vendors that want to sell different items, and you have to kind of let them, you know, to their 2 items, and that's always tough managing that. We went out again. We walked out the layout. Looking right now, we have how many? We have 15 vendors so far. We have space for 40 vendors, and they're going to be coming in. So we just opened up the window for them to come sign up. I think it was this week, or last week. So we'll have more to come there. The rides, the booths, the picnic tables, the umbrellas, that has been procured by Parks and Rec, by Mr. Jaime. So that's looking real good there. The advertisement. We're still working on the flyer, but everything else, we've already reached out to the media outlets and to the radio, and so you'll be seeing a big dose of that as we get closer to the event. If you'll turn the page, the corporate sponsors. I did not, and I'll do that at the next meeting, is include, Mayor and Commissioners, a list of the corporate sponsors and what they're doing, so I'll provide you a list. We have it, I just didn't bring it with me. I'll provide that list for you so you can see who are the folks that are donating. Some of it is coming in kind, and some of it is financial. So they're donating some money. So that's coming along real good there. If you look on the right, the ticket, the bracelet booths, location of booths. Over here to the right on the notes, you'll see what we're going to be charging per ticket, per ride, and how we've already worked with, we've made contact with the, what's it called, Moore's Greater Shows. And this is a price that would work well for us last year, and we're gonna keep the same price. Correct.
Make money out of that, so it's just to defray the cost?
It's to defray the cost, Mayor. We know just whatever we can get out of that to help pay for some of the rides. It all goes back to the general fund. But we can probably provide you with some actual totals, right? I would think so. We could do some actual totals because we do the countdown that night, so we'll know how much what's for rides. And matter of fact, we do already have that information. But it's really to offray the cost. It's not, we don't make a whole lot of money out of that. So, and then the drink booths, what we're going to do here, that's still a work in progress. We're looking at securing 2 Coca-Cola trailers. I don't know if that's done, but yet I think we're close to doing that. They're going to meet, if not tomorrow, I think Thursday. And we're going to put the drink. This is another one that helps us defray the costs. Is we're the only ones that sell the sodas and the waters, and so we're going to be right in the middle of the event. So everybody has to come through, and we'll just be the center there, and that will be managed by finance, the administration, and the Parks Board. Everybody kind of take turns in manning that, and so we're going to have a tent out. Well, a tent or a booth. I don't, or the trailers. I don't know just yet, but again, that's a work in progress. The snow area and crowd control area. We've already purchased the snow. They're going to be right off of First Street, right next to the fence, so they can shoot the snow over. And we're going to have Mr. Felimon is going to be in charge of putting some games together. Mr. Olvera, he's supposed to come up. He left there. He's going to have some games, I think, for us. I don't know just yet, but that's going to be a work in progress. But like I said, we procured most of everything there. Parking, we're going to have parking on the south and southeast side of San Juan Municipal Park, and where is the Business 83? When you drive in off Business 83, there's parking to the right, and there's parking to the left, which is Miss Abbott's property, and then of course all along Oblate, and then we'll probably, not Oblate, I'm sorry, First Street, and hopefully we'll have enough, and I'm pretty sure there'll be some overflow into some of those neighborhoods. But we'll look at that and play it by ear. I think based on...
You'll be blocking off the portion like we normally do, or we're going to keep that open? You know that from First Street to where the clinic is?
Where do we go?
Okay. A smaller piece than last time. Okay.
And
just check with the WOW to make sure that if they have rentals, that they've been cleared as well, so that they have parking for their. They what? Okay, good. Okay.
We talked about that today. That was one of the things that Mr. Jaime, I think, had already told us that he'd made contact with him because we were concerned about how that was going to look also. So, yeah, he's on it already. The cleanup, we're going to have volunteers. Eric there at Recycling, he's got a group of volunteers, but utilities and public works and parks, and of course, everybody, what we're going to do this year on this one is that everybody that has a booth, anybody that has that's responsible for a certain area, like the Blue Santa, the snow, every director is going to be in charge of a certain area, and they're going to be responsible for keeping that area clean, so that we're all helping each other keep it clean, so that, you know, it's try to make it a seamless event. The way you see the park now is hopefully the next day you'll see it pretty clean and everything put away the way it should. And so the committee has agreed to do that. If
we have recycling canisters. Does that work?
Oh, Eric's done. I know that it's happened in the past, but they do throw, you know, you're still going to have folks that throw trash in those recycling bins, but we do have them out there, and we've had them out there in the past. I know that. And so I just don't know, Mayor. I couldn't answer that for you right now. If you'll turn the page, the bleachers and the hay setup, utilities and parks, the hay and the bales of hay are for of course the snow area, and then the bleachers will be for the main stage area. Again, we walked it today just to have an idea of where we put the bleachers. We're going to stake everything out here as it gets closer to the event, and then we'll put the bleachers where they need to be. What we wanted to do there, Mayor, is that on the bleachers is that we didn't really want to put them directly in front of the stage because we want to give everybody an opportunity to look. so they may be on the sides. But we're gonna have to look, once we stake everything out, how it's gonna look. But we will have room, right? We will have room to put, plenty of room to put bleachers, but more of like a bowl that way, so everyone can enjoy the entertainment. The next one is the Santa's Workshop. That's still a work in progress. We're still kind of we asked the group there, which is recycling, library, planning, code enforcement there, was just to provide us with an agenda as to where the people that go to see the event or want to know that from this certain time they're going to be doing coloring, from this time they're going to be doing some crafts, and from this time they're going to be doing these kind of, just so we have something so folks can reference and we can get that out to the community and let them know what's going on. So we're working on that, but pretty much everything else has been procured, the tent, the materials and things like that, right? The tent has, okay. The next one is the Blue Santa. Again, the only thing that Brian brought up Monday was that he wants to have his Santa outfit dry cleaned, so we're going to get that dry cleaned for him pretty soon. But again, that's another one that the tent is going to be right next to the Santa's Workshop. So you're going to see those two items next to each other, and they'll be close to the snow. So there'll be a lot of kid activities around that area, and it'll be away from we'll talk down the road here, the beer barn. They'll be separate. Kid stuff over here on one side, and the adult things over here towards the east side. So we're working on that. Again, the parade registration, Parks and Rec is currently receiving registrations for that. The parade route, we talked about that, and their setup is going to be, we'll start at 4, and we'll want to get the parade going by 6 p.m. And so as soon as it gets dark, we'll start the parade. And so that's the goal there. If you'll turn the page, the parade judges, this is something that I can work on procuring, but if any of you on the commission, mayor and commissioners, have someone that you know that would like to be a judge, just let me know, and we'll definitely make room for them there. We're looking at anywhere from 3 to 5 judges, and so if y'all know a public official that would like to join us, let me know. We'll definitely get that set up. There'll be a welcome. I'll have an agenda for you there as we get closer to the event. Before we kick off the main event, like we've done in the past, Mayor, you and the commissioners will come up, say a few words, and thank the community for giving this opportunity, to put this event on. And then, of course, it just goes down. There's some things in there. If you have any questions about what they're working on right now, the only thing that's a big, well, that's not a concern, but we still haven't got an answer yet, is the event insurance. Ms. Gonzalez has been working with our current insurance folks, and we should have an answer. So at the next presentation, so we're looking at about a $60,000 coverage, and more or less right around that area, and it's going to be, the fee will be about $3,000. So it's kind of worth it in case something happens. We have that there. So
and that covers the bands as well, all of that? Okay.
whatever you spent on the event and bands and everything, that's
Equipment, speakers, whatever.
A lot of these folks, and we did it with the music. We did try to put that in the agreements, and I think they were that if it rains, that they'll either have to come back and play another day, or we get some type of our money back in some way. So we try to put that in there, and I think we did, the language in the contract. And most of them, I think La Mafia and Emilio and all them were open to that, which was good. The ATM machines, the beer barn, again, we walked it. The beer barn has been procured by the EDC, but that will be closer to the main stage, and the kids' activities will happen. If you can picture the park, you have the recycling to the east side and the WOW to the west side. So the kids' events will be on the west side, and the adult things will be on, beverages will be on the east side. So there'll be a big celebration.
When we got I saw you put approved vendor, Robert and Bruniga. Did we go out and request from everybody that would have the opportunity to do that to put a bid in, or how do we select a vendor?
Well, Mayor, I don't have a Pat that did this. I'm going to tell you that certain beer retailers here in the area, here in San Juan, some of them have a permit to sell liquor outside or beer outside, and others do not. I know that Mr. Robert and Brenda Zuniga have done it in the past, but I don't think that process, we did that. I think they were asked if they wanted to do it again like they've done in the past, and they said yes.
And they keep all the profit?
No.
So what is it that they do?
Mayor, I can't tell you. Do you know what the?
I think last year what we ended up collecting was like, I don't know if it was a 20 or 30% from their sales. They provide their license, they provide the beer, and we collect from them.
In other words, they take responsibility for
Yes.
most part of the alcohol sales and making sure that they don't sell to, they've got to know to minors, and they got to make sure that they don't sell to overly continue selling to people that are intoxicated. And more.
The liability there would tie just to them? It wouldn't tie to the city?
Just to
It would be both?
They would definitely bear some of the responsibility, but if there were any liability for anybody getting
There's a, if I'm not mistaken.
Do they have a disclaimer? Do they understand that?
Yeah, I think there's a, if I'm not mistaken, Mayor, there's a contract with them, and I think it stipulates what Mr. Munoz said. Mr. Vasquez is the one that put that together, but I'll bring it to you, Mayor.
Is that something that you're working with through the EDC?
Yes, yes.
Can we
I'll
look
get
to look at that ourselves, so make sure that whatever it is that we're also,
What liability limits are you asking that they put forward?
I'll get it to you, Mayor. We'll get that to all of you. And
send it to Mr. Munoz as well,
Okay.
to take a look at that.
Require all the vendors to have at least a minimum of $1 million.
What we're going to do this year again, and we've done in the past, the ice vendor, Rick's Ice House has been, they've worked with us, and this year we're going to do is we're going to set up the ice vendor there close to the soda, where we're going to be selling the drinks, and we're going to have it manned to where we're selling the ice. In the past, it was just there for, for us to use. We're going to have ice, go get some ice, but we're going to try to capture some of that cost, the money back, and sell bags of ice to our vendors that may need some, or the cookout folks that are there, and start getting some money back. And it's not a lot, it's going to be cold and stuff, but still whatever we can get back on the event helps a lot. So that'll be manned and staffed by Human Resource and Municipal Court. He'll be helping us with that. If you'll turn the page, the last part of it is we want to close no later than 10:30, the committee. Again, every director will be responsible to clean their area, will be in charge not only, but we just want to make sure that there's a lot of equipment, Mayor, that's being rented, commissioners, a lot of chairs, a lot of things that we need to make sure that we're accountable for it. So, if we rented, if Mr. Jaime procured 10 tables for me and 50 chairs, I have to make sure and turn that back into him so that there's not additional cost. So we're making directors responsible for that. And of course, all of us will be there to make sure we close the event and just make sure everything's in good shape. And like I said, just have a seamless event. One thing I didn't mention earlier was all our employees will be getting food vouchers. They get $7 per every 8 hours worked. And if they work a double shift, they get $14 worth of food vouchers so that they can visit our local vendors there to get some food during the event. Whenever they have a break, they're able to get, if they want a turkey leg or, something to eat, they can do that there. Volunteers is we're going to provide them with the cook-off usually has food left over from the participants, and we're going to use that and make some rice and beans for them so they can eat, the volunteers that are there. We're talking about the children that come in and, organizations that volunteer, not our employees. They're welcome to it, but it's more for them just to save on the cost. And that's where we're at right now. Oh, one more. The last one, Mayor and Commissioners, one of the things that I think the Commission wanted to know is how many folks actually attend this event. What we're going to do is we're going to block off in the map, you'll see where we'll have entry points. We'll have entry points coming off Business 83 into the park, where it'll be kind of like a gate. You know, it'll be free, but we'll have someone there counting folks coming in. We'll have some folks on the north side, some folks on the west side, and some folks on the east side, and it'll be an entrance. We'll put it to where their entrance is. In other words, they just can't walk in from wherever. There'll be entrances, and there'll be some folks there counting, so that we'll have an idea of how many people actually attended the event. We'll take pictures of those folks there.
Thank you.
Bless you, and bless you, Commissioner. And we'll have like at 9 o'clock we had 800 people. At 10 o'clock we had 1,000 people. You know, and from there, so that each gate will report in how many they have. So I think it'll be crucial, because not only do y'all want to know how many folks attend, but the vendors and our sponsors also want to know how many folks actually attend the event. So we're going to try it out this year, and then hopefully we'll have a good idea of how many folks attended the event. Pretty accurate. Yeah, and the Univision wants to.
Yeah, Univision's going to be coming. They're going to be actually videotaping live the concert and the event. Besides Puro Tejano, Mando San Roman, they'll be recording the bands live, and also with the Univision. So it's going to be 2 recordings that they're going to be doing. One of the things that they did ask was how many people attend, because from last year to this year, we're number 3 on their list from the whole valley. And that's including the Hub Fest, Smoking on the Real stuff, where people come and attend the free events and stuff. So they're wanting to make this a yearly thing where they participate. They come and videotape. They give us the advertisement and publicize for us and stuff. So one of the things I did ask was how many people. So, and that's the only way to find out is having people there taking counters. Also, BBVA, the bank, will be providing volunteers to help during the event. I do have a list, but it's in my car, of all the vendors that have already, sponsors that we got rid of, over $12,000 already in sponsorships. And we still have more coming in today. And so hopefully we'll get some more in. Cook-off is looking real good. I've met with several cooks.
I'll let him take over on the cook-offs.
Met with several cooks last weekend. We were at a Mercedes Stock Show at the Hinopalooza Scholarship Fundraiser and spoke with several of the cooks there. I know all our local ones. Here in San Juan alone, we have 2 of the top that are ranked in the top 25 in the state, which is Danny Luera, which just lives down the street here. He's ranked number 2 right now. And then we have Chuck Salinas and Oki Salinas, which are in the top 10 as well. So Arnie Segovia is just north of us here in Edinburgh. Gilbert Casanova is just down the street here in Mission. So we have about 10 to 12 teams here in the Valley alone that are ranked in the top 25 in the state. So the Valley's got it to where we now have our own bid. We have our own designation here, so we're getting to be bigger and bigger. So one of the things with this event, when I told them, just by giving them the lineup of the music, they said, well, we're there. We already have our first team that signed up this week, Mr. Tirso Arza. So he's already got there, and Chuck and Oki already gave me their app, and I'm picking up some this weekend. I have a cook-off in Edinburgh, and I already had cooks call me, hey, we already have our entry form ready. We'll give it to you there at Saturday at the cook-off. But we'll be having the events.
It's a handout, I think, the cook-off. So feel free to share it with anybody that you know would like to join, but really we wanted to keep it to a select group of folks.
We're gonna have a brisket chicken, pork spare ribs, and on the jackpot categories, we have your favorite, Mayor, the dessert category. And we also have fajitas.
Right? You'll need judges, right?
Yes, we'll be needing judges.
Give us enough warning.
During those times, I'll come out with the turn-in times. That way you all are aware of the turn-in times. That way throughout the day,
A little bit of
y'all
coffee,
go
too,
and,
for the palate.
Oh, yes. And just some of the categories, you are more than welcome. We always make room for, try to make room for everybody. I know there's sometimes limited space, but usually we use 5 judges. I've gone up to 8, 9 judges on the table. So with me, it's no problem. The more the better, because you get a more of a palate taste for, and it gives the cooks a better chance. But no, it's looking real good. I have another cook-off this weekend where I'll talk to some more cooks, and then the following weekend I'll be in Kingsville, and I'll have some other cooks. We got a lot of Valley cooks that go represent us up there, and they usually bring home all the awards and trophies. Wow. So we get a lot. That's one of the reasons we like going up to the Corpus, Kingsville area and Alice, because we show them.
Cap as far as cooks?
We're going to try to cap it at 20. might go up to 25, depending on
Spots.
the spots that we have. I know some of the teams say, I don't need that big of a spot. In my spot, I can fit 2 teams. If that can happen, we'll allow more teams. The more teams, the more judges, the more time. So we want to try to keep it to where at the end of the event, by 3 o'clock, we're done with the judging. At 4, we do awards. Music starts at 5, and we're ready to go. So it's just one thing after the other. So
Set up right there.
inside the baseball area,
Okay.
we're going to keep them all there. That way the fence keeps some of the crowd out, and when they do the judging, we don't have, usually with the cook-off, that's why when we do Cinco de Mayo, we got the cooks on the east side and everybody's on the west side. But by putting everybody now inside the fence, the city has the whole middle to where, with the vendors selling the sodas and the waters in the middle and having the vendors along the fence, you all are going to have a lot of space for people to come and go and enjoy the music, because the band's going to be facing west, so it's going to be a great setup the way it's going to be. And then cooks, if the ones that want to leave can exit, all they have to do is just exit the baseball park and take off there through behind the recycling center, and they won't be in nobody's way.
Very good.
Okay. And if there's any other questions on the cook-off, just let me know.
Sounds like you have it all figured out there, Mr. Tapia. That's wonderful that you do that. And I know that you always draw a good crowd when you get the word out, so
Yes.
looking forward to that, and keep us in mind for the judging.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Mr. Hyman?
Thank you.
Moving on the agenda, under ordinances, number 6A, discussion on a proposed ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances for the solid waste, providing for exclusive collection for commercial accounts and amending the commercial garbage collection rates. Mr., is there a motion to remove? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
All right, we'd like to go ahead and, Mr. Gonzalez, if you'd like to present.
Commissioners, for the record, my name is Miguel Gonzalez. I'm the sanitation director for the city of San Juan. This agenda item is for discussion on a proposed ordinance amending the code ordinance of the solid waste, providing for the exclusive collection of commercial accounts and amending the commercial garbage collection rates. Since at this present time, local businesses have the option to getting garbage pickup services from the city of San Juan or from private providers, many businesses have opted in the past to change garbage providers and leave the city with unpaid balances. The attached ordinance would prevent businesses within the city of San Juan to change garbage providers to private companies by making it mandatory to get garbage services from the city. This is for discussion, and what we have noticed, as a matter of fact, this week, Eric and I were talking about this. A lot of businesses, what they're doing is going to private companies, and we're not aware, especially those that are under the North Alamo Water District and the military. These companies don't advise the city when the accounts are closed, so we're not aware. So the bins are still at these businesses, and you know, they're not paying for it. And then so when we look at our delinquent accounts, they're there, and we're either going to have to write them off or go after these people to pay for this. As a matter of fact, I did a little research on it, and we have 12 businesses. If you like for me to name the business, I can name them for you.
Do we have a listing in our packet?
No, Mayor. I did this not long ago, and but we do have 12 businesses that I've noticed that have different, either from ABC, Allied Waste, Republic. These companies are in waste management that are in our city, and this ordinance, this is what we're trying to do to keep everybody out of our city and have us provide the business, and also at the same time make sure that our delinquent accounts are up to par.
How much?
You have that amount? I'm sorry, Mayor.
No.
I have it in my office. I apologize. I give it to my secretary to work on it. And when I came, I was in a hurry and I left it in her office.
More
But
or
I do have
less.
an account and I can get it for y'all.
Ballpark figure.
Figure about 20 some accounts.
How much?
20 some.
20-some?
20 plus. But I will get you the information. I'll email you so you can have that information.
What are your plans with that? How are you going to take care of that?
I'm gonna get together with City Hall and see if we can get this account. Like I say, maybe go talk to North Alamo and get an interlocal to where they can at least provide the information when these accounts are closed, so we can pick up our containers and provide. Make sure that we have a lot of accounts that have been here for years that have not been collected, and that's part of the problem. That they've closed out the accounts, and what they do, they go to one entity or one company, and then they just close it out, then go to another company, and then when they just either go bankrupt or just close the businesses, well, the accounts are outstanding. So this is something that I'm going to work on, and try to pick up the monies that we can from the businesses that we can, and we're going to have to write off the other accounts. We're going to have to write them off because they've been in existence for a while.
You might want to check with the Linebarger firm. They're the firm that collects the taxes for the city, the outstanding taxes. I know with some other clients that I have, their engagement agreement with the municipalities allow them to collect these fees and outstanding debts that some of the businesses and citizens owe, and they're able to collect that on behalf of the city. And if they collect, they get paid. If they don't collect, they don't get paid. So you might want to check, Chief, with the agreement that we have with the Linebarger firm. It might allow them to do it, and if it doesn't, we might bring it back to the city. So since they're already collecting taxes for the city, they might be able to send out their collection notices and they have the staff and the personnel to go and knock on those doors and look for those individuals that owe the city money. So you might want to check with the Linebarger firm.
I'll do that. Thank you, sir. And like I said, we're going to work on that, and we're already prepared also, Mayor. We've ordered some containers so that we can be prepared if this ordinance goes through, so we can have enough containers for our businesses.
Let me ask you some questions.
Sure.
You talk about making it mandatory. So are you saying that when we approach all the businesses, those that have outside vendors, because those were the ones that we're going to target, if they have a one-year contract renewable for another year, whatever they have, we're not going to be infringing upon them that you need to switch. You're going to, how do we deal with the folks who are already in a contract with somebody else, and how do we approach that if they continue to renew their contracts and we're saying, we're anybody else that comes in? How do we handle that?
What I'm going to have to do is get together with our city attorney and to see what the recommendation is.
The way that would work is we'd have to send the vendor a notice informing them that we've passed an ordinance, and the city can then decide whether we want to honor them the opportunity to reach out their contractual agreement, or just say, you know what, an ordinance has been passed, you have 30, 60, 90 days to collect your equipment, finalize your account with your client, and then the city of San Juan's taking over that.
What do you think is the best? I mean, if someone just signed up I don't know how they work with the others.
Other municipalities have done it any number of ways. Allow them time to wrap up the entire term of their agreement, or just give them a certain amount of time across the board to all the vendors, saying in 90 days, 120 days, the city of San Juan will be taking over this part of trash collection, and you need to wrap up your affairs with this individual. So it's just a matter of sending them notice.
Well, that's one way of working out. So I'll be looking into it, Mayor, and give you more information as it develops.
Allow them to finish out their contractual term. You're going to find out some have really long terms.
That's what I'm saying.
So
I mean,
you might want to just cap it at 90 days or 120 days for everybody across the board.
I mean, would there be a possibility of your, third party infringing on my contract, that we are telling them you got to break that contract?
This type of services are within the city's aspect of services, and so if the city decides to do it, they won't. I mean, certainly you're going to have some vendors that come back and say, well, you're cutting into my business, but I mean, unfortunately, that's something that the city is allowed to do.
So if we tell, okay, I just signed my contract for my business a month ago, and you're going to give me, let's say 4 months. I, as the business owner in San Juan, would would say what to them? I guess I'm just concerned, will the vendor come back and say, well, you know, someone's breaching this contract, you,
No, there's
business
no
owner?
breach of contract. You're just gonna have to inform both the, business owner, the citizen, and the vendor of the new ordinance that's in place, and they're just gonna have to abide by it.
So if we go that route, that tax firm is out of the question then, you know, as far as trying to.
Well, no, my understanding of the tax firm was for the outstanding, the accounts that are already closed and never paid. You have some businesses that walk away, if I'm not mistaken, when I've heard this issue in the past, they walk away and they might owe the city of San Juan $1,000 or $2,000. They just walked away and never paid it. And what the firm would come in and do is say, knock on that door, find that individual and say, by the way, you remember you signed an agreement with the city of San Juan that we were going to collect your trash, and we did. You owe the city $1,000 or whatever that amount may be. That's where that would come in. Yeah,
And
that's
there are
separate
some
and apart.
accounts with that amount of money, Mayor.
I think what we need to do is to be able to flag this, that if you didn't pay in 1 month, we're not gonna see the accumulation. You know, I mean, do we immediately stop collecting their trash when they become late?
We've,
And is that something we're going to also include? Because, I mean, if we hear 20,000 that didn't get paid, at some point did they quit after the first month and didn't pay us, or did it go on for several months and we never stopped the collection? So there needs to be a way that we don't allow it to get to $20,000.
Right, we sent some flyers. I gave my card out so I could get some calls. I got a little bit of response, and a few accounts were paid for, but in payments, partial payments. But we need to step it up a little, going a little faster, Mayor.
Mayor, if I may, we have implemented with the department already that they're all going back and auditing all the accounts from all the different departments, and Mr. Gonzalez's department is one of them. And we're going back to make sure this doesn't happen again, because we do have a lot of thousands of dollars that are owed to the city from different departments, and we just somehow it got put aside. But I think that they're auditing to make sure, and this is some of the things that we come across. Some accounts, some businesses that are providing services from other companies in the city of San Juan. So that's why we're looking at all the different stuff. So I think that's what we're here for, because some of the things that we've found already that we need to address. So we're gonna get all that information in the next update.
Very good.
Well, also, what we're trying to do also, Mayor, is commissioners, is to increase a little bit on the commercial accounts, on the services, and a good example for our residential accounts, which are 90-gallon containers, that we kept it as it is. We're not going to increase on our residentials, and on our Class A, that would be our residential, which is $18.75 per month that we are charging. On our Class 2, which would be a 300-gallon container, which is once a week pickup, it's at $65. It remained the same. And actually, I'm sorry, on that one we changed the rate from the 300-gallon container 3 times a week from $114.90. We increased it to a flat rate of $120.
And on the 300 once a week, we didn't have a previous once a week? Is that what you're saying? Because there's no... Oh, you're bringing it from Class 1 into Class 2.
Right, it's just for once a week, and in the other accounts that have a three times a week, we're charging them $120.
And tell me, who typically has a Class 2?
Pardon?
Who typically has the Class 2 300?
The commercial, like our duplexes or apartments.
Okay.
Those are the ones that have the 300-gallon. On our Class 3, which is our 6-cubic yard, which we pick up 2 times a week, on that one we increase. We're going to be charging. These are accounts that are not in the ordinance, and that one we're going to charge $400 a month. And in our and all these are for apartments, businesses, duplexes, and our 8-cubic yard, we're going to pick it up 3 times a week, and it'll be $600. Most of these are for commercial businesses, and we also want to set some rates that we do not have for our vehicles and that go to our department and dispose at our landfills. Like for example, on our class 5, which would be pickups, we want to set a flat rate of $55. The reason that I want to do this is because you can bring a pickup and be bringing shingles. You know, it might be half full. You say, well, it's only half full. Yes, but they charge it at the landfill by the tons, and shingles are very heavy. And that's the reason why we want to go with a flat rate of $55, because we can.
What do we charge right now?
It varies. Right now, you know, it's very little. We charge them $25, $20, $50. It depends the material that they're bringing. So that's why what I would like to do is just set a flat rate for pickups, for trailers, which we would like to charge $135, a brush truck $200, and a roll-off $325. And we would like to, you know, keep this uniform. And anybody that comes, we're not going to be arguing with anybody. This is our flat rate. We're going to put it on our building, this rates. That way, people will not be questioning as well. It's not that much or whatever. It's a flat rate, and that's what it's going to be.
And how do we account for it? When people come in and pay, do we have a controlled basis? It's not somebody says, okay, pay me 25 or pay 35.
No, normally.
How are we going to control how that gets paid and receipted?
That's why, like for example, right now, Mayor, like I'm telling you, let's say a pickup comes with a load of let's say brush, which is not very heavy. And then you have another person coming with the same amount of or same volume of things, and it's shingles. I cannot charge them the same because at the landfill they're going to charge us different, because they charge us by the ton, and the shingle weighs more than the brush. So this is why we're just trying to come up with a flat rate, and I don't want to make it hard for our secretary, because they give her a hard time and they're trying to tell her, well, I'm going to pay you. No, you ain't going to pay that. So either me or Juan stay at the office and make sure when people come, we make sure we talk to them, and we deposit the money to City Hall on a daily basis, and we give them receipts and receive our money. And but this is why I would like to go on a flat rate for everything here.
You make a comparison study on this and what other cities charge? How did you come up with these rates, and how
With these rates, we base, for example, McAllen for the brush, they charge by the square feet, and I think that's what they do over at the landfill in Edinburgh also, and they charge $15.95, I think.
How much?
$15.95, and that's West Laco. McAllen, the brush, they just on a 1 week pickup, they charge $1 a month, but you know their volume is a lot more than us, and they have more facilities and everything than we do. So I couldn't compare FAR. FAR has a pick also at $12.50 a month for the brush, but they're contracted through Waste Management. And McAllen do their own thing. They have their recycling center just like we do, but you know, it's kind of hard to compare ours to theirs, Mayor and commissioners. And you know, this is why we feel comfortable. Eric and I got together. Eric has a lot more experience as far with the recycling. He goes to the neighboring cities and kind of compares what they charge and all that, and we based it on that. And I feel this is very comfortable. I think this is very fair what we're charging, because I mean they charge it by ton, and that's a lot of money. And you know, I have our weekly report where I can tell you how much tonnage we've taken to the landfill for the month of October, and it's quite a bit. And for example, right now, I would think that since everything's going dormant, I thought that it was going to stop, but no, it continues on a daily basis. They keep bringing rush, and everybody, you know, and I don't want to be charging people less and other people more. I want to keep it uniform to where.
How many, you know, I guess what's going through my mind is some folks need to clear out when we're not clearing up because it's not their turn. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not the time to go and pick up brush. But they still want to keep their area clean. Right. And they want to come over and deposit it themselves on an off time, you know. And I know that the complaint you hear, because what I hear is, hey, I pay already a fee. Here I am trying to pick up because you're not going to come pick up.
We
I
don't-
want to do this myself. I want to come and take it, and that's when they find out it's going to cost me an extra 25. Now we're saying, okay, it's going to cost you now double.
Well, like for example, if it's just brush, Mayor, and they're citizens of San Juan, they bring us their water bill, we don't charge them for that.
Okay, then how come I have some folks that have told me they've been
Because we do
charged?
charge them if they bring, let's say, lumber, shingles, all that we do, but for brush, we don't charge the residents. It's just for, even if we bring, let's say, block, masonry stuff, we don't charge them for that
So
either.
it's, all you're talking about here is construction.
Construction. right?
Okay, so I should not hear any of my residents saying, I'm taking brush and I
Not
get
for
charged
brush. I
25.
mean, they're doing us a favor in taking it over to our landfill.
Exactly.
But they have to provide a receipt. A problem that I have running since I came aboard, I have people that go to construction sites and they say, well, you know what, I'll take care of the debris, I'll charge you $200. Well, since they're from San Juan, they want to go to our landfill and say, you know what, this is from this address in San Juan. But they're making money off of it. And this is what I want to stop, Mayor, because it's not fair that these people are making money from our city, because, I mean, they're charging a certain amount of money, and they should have the responsibility to dispose of it over at the landfill in Edinburgh. And they're trying to come over here to our site and dump it here for free. So they're making money, and they're doing it tax-free, and we're paying for all that load. And, you know, like I said, they charge it by tonnage, so it adds up. And that's what I'm trying to stop right now.
Okay, then make it clear, because that's not what I was hearing.
Mhm.
And perhaps maybe it's the way that it was set up. If you're talking only as to the construction, then if they come in with construction and brush, you're going to consider it all construction, is what you're saying, that rate?
Pretty much so.
Then what needs to be communicated to the community very clearly is that, you know, you bring your own brush, you bring your own junk, then you're not going to be charged. But if you start doing construction or construction materials, it'll change. And I think that was not clear for me. And needs to be posted very clearly, because I have heard residents that tell me, I'm bringing in my things, I'm getting charged.
Well, if it's, like I said, if it's construction material, they are getting charged, Mayor. And I've even have to go to sites where they go to our office, they come with a trailer full of sheetrock, and they go, well, it's from this resident. I go over there, there's no signs of sheetrock, and sheetrock is pretty messy. And I go, well, it's not from here. And they want to dispose it for free. And they take a receipt from, you know, their relatives or whatever, and they bring receipts, and I go check, because, I mean, that's construction. I mean, I can understand somebody remodeling their homes and whatever. We'll go to the site and look at it. Okay, fine, you know, it's from here. We can go ahead and work with them. But if it's not there, and I do that a lot, I have to go to the residents and make sure that it's from there. But like I said, you know, in the brush, I'm not, you know, concerned about that. I'm concerned about construction materials, because that does add up at the end.
On the monthly rates on Class 3 and Class 4, let me take you back up there. What did you base your 400 and 600 on? I don't see anything that you might have compared that to.
Okay, it's because they're a bigger container. It's a 6 cubic yard, and we're picking up twice a week.
I understand, but how did you come up with the amounts? What did you base
With
that
the
on?
amount, we tried to figure it out on the, Eric and I were talking about it, and we tried to compare how much material goes into the container, how much it carries, how much weight, more or less. And we just came up with a flavor where it could be reasonable for our citizens. And that's how we based that on. And like I said, the other one, the reason it's a little higher is because it's a little bigger, and we're doing it 3 times a week.
And did you do comparisons with what other communities charge on that?
No, I haven't.
I would like to see that.
Sure, I'll get that, Mayor. Like I said, we went to Westlaco, and they were very forward with their information. Like I said, I call
Sure,
City of Westlaco.
I would think they would. I mean, if you look at the way that Mr. Gomez presented on most of the items, at least there was comparables. And I'm going to tell you the same thing is not just comparables, but also cost, you know, the cost analysis that you have. only because I don't, I don't know enough to be able to tell you. I think
Right.
that's a good rate.
And
I don't know.
On this, Mayor, like I said, like the landfill, even McAllen, go by the square footage of it. And I would have to have somebody there measuring the truck or the trailer has to be there all day doing that. That's why I try to go on the tonnage or on the weight. Because, our secretary can be coming and going, every time, and we get a lot of walk-ins, and that's what I was trying to avoid. And but I will come up with a different solution for you.
I mean, I just like a little bit more on, you came up with these figures, and this is how we did it, and this is how much charging, or this is what the other communities do. If everybody's doing by the square footage, and that's how they're charging, and this is how they came up with it, I mean, how do they do it? Do they? So
Like I said,
I just don't want to. Honestly, I feel like it's, for me personally, it's kind of arbitrary. You are saying that you figured it out, but I don't know if that's, because
Right.
I think the thing is, I want them to get that stuff off make sure it's not ends up in the back of any alley anyway, because you know what, I can't move it. I'm just gonna dump it there.
And
I'm
this
not
is
encouraged
why
to bring it over.
This is why I go check, Mayor, because I want to make sure that it is from our city and make sure it doesn't get dumped in our city.
Right.
So, but I will get you a better, more information on that and get you the delinquent list and see what's there. Any more questions?
So just so to be clear, a comparison of how other cities are doing, but also how much does it cost us to dispose of it, to process it too? I mean, it's not just how much are they charging at the landfill, but how much personnel time is being used here at the yard as well.
Another thing that I will come before you would be very shortly. I'm getting some figures. We have a lot of brush, a lot of garbage out there in our landfill, and we really need to start cleaning it up. And it's been there for years and years. And I already got some quotes from a company to mulch it. And I have some figures there in my office, but I just want to make a very clear estimate and bring it to you all and see if we can go that route, because it'll save us money, it'll save us a lot. And the last thing I would want is for a hurricane to come by and just blow all the debris out. So I have some figures already, and I will get an over presented before you all very shortly.
Landfill that opened, right?
Pardon?
There's a new landfill that is advertising that they've been opened.
Well, we opened the...
No. There's a landfill.
Oh,
a new
I'm
landfill.
not aware of it. But, we do need to start cleaning our landfill, and I do have some quotes already for you all. But I'm going to call Mike Wow. He's the person I've been dealing with, and he's giving me a lot of reasonable numbers, but I'll present them to you at a later time. Any questions? No? All right, thank you.
Should we go ahead and table this so that we can bring it? One of the things that...
You're gonna have a motion on it in any event.
Yeah. Well,
Whether to...
I don't know, is everyone ready to?
I would like it tabled, because I think there's still some unknowns.
And I want to make sure that we bring it back, because I know when I brought this to Mr. Gonzalez, this is something we had started probably about 2 years ago before he was here, and then we just didn't follow up on it. And so I want to make sure that that does not happen again. And so if we're not ready, and I'm not ready today, I don't know.
I'll entertain a motion to table.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It has been tabled then, and provide us that information. Mr. Gonzalez would appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
Item B, consider second and final reading of an ordinance for the rezoning request for single-family resident district to general business district for the property legally described as south 870 feet of the Langley Strip, Lot 11, Block 17, excluding west 33.5 feet of the south 509.69 feet, located at 701 West FM 495, as requested by Linda Quintanilla. Mr. Cervantes. Is there a motion to remove from table?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Go ahead.
Mayor, City Commission, good evening. At the last meeting, there was some confusion about how the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended. Planning and Zoning Commission recommended disapproval, but the City Commission approved it in first reading. Ms. Cantanilla is ready to purchase the property and to invest in the property, but she needs the zoning to go forward with the project. Code enforcement has been initiated at the at the site, and also Public Works went out there to check out the garbage situation out there. So the ordinance is for your consideration for adoption in second reading.
I think the only question that we had at the last meeting, the way that the minutes had read, it stated that the commission took the recommendation as stated by, I don't have it in front of me. I don't know if it was by the planning and zoning or as presented. I know that planning and zoning presented to deny, and then the commission voted for. So it was either not clear how that got voted in as a motion, and how do we clear that up? That was the question that I had, also based on the way that it was stated within the minutes. Yeah, I'm asking you, what happens at that point?
I think it's properly before the commission to consider a motion now to approve or deny. I was trying to make out what you said. What did the planning and zoning?
On this case, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended denial,
Okay.
but the City Commission approved it. Planning staff said approval.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, I mean, the way it's listed on the agenda, it's before the commission or now entertain a motion for the commission.
Okay, so this would be then the second reading. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I guess if Mr. Rodriguez on the minutes, if we can reflect it, because I think there was confusion also in how the minutes were awarded, so we can look at that carefully of how it was presented the first time and then how it's going to present it here the second time.
During the packet.
Very good. Right then, is there a motion for approving of the second reading?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Bids and contracts under item 7A, consider awarding the water and sanitary sewer lines along the north side of US Expressway 83 to OG Construction Company from Edinburgh, Texas. Base bid amount of $444,745, and selective additive bid in the amount of $44,800 for a total of $491,545. Mr. Gonzalez, Mr. Gonzalez or Mr. Cruz?
In your packet, I included the bid tabulation with the itemized bids. We had 13 bidders on this project. We checked the final, the OG Construction with the low bid of $446,745 and the $44,800, the selective additive was the part for the EDC. And so with what we accomplished here was getting a price, the estimated price for the EDC was about $65,000, but by putting it on the back of the other bid with a larger amount of pipe, it lowered it significantly. So our recommendation is to award the base bid and the selective alternate bid to OG Construction for $491,545.
Just inclusive of both, correct?
Both, yes.
Okay. Are there any questions?
Cost savings.
Right.
Motion to approve as presented?
Is there a second? Second. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B, consider the adoption of interlocal cooperation agreement between the City of San Juan and Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1. Mr. Gonzalez.
Mayor and Commissioners, after the flood that we had on Hall Acres Road several months ago, there's an issue there on the pipe that's there, and we're trying to install a 12-inch overflow valve. We have it in our office. We already have the valve, and we're trying to reach a interlocal agreement with Irrigation District. And with the Drainage District Number 1. And what they're going to do is, we don't have the personnel to do this work, and we don't have the equipment to do it. We do have the valve. We've had it for a while. And all that we're going to provide is just the materials that is needed. They're going to provide the manpower. I believe it's already been approved by the county. And, we're just waiting. It's coming before you all, see if you can approve this for us. We do recommend the approval on this interlocal. It's very vital to our department because it's right around the corner. It's a flood area, and the only way we can work with it is by installing this 12-inch overflow valve. And I think it's a great idea. And unfortunately, we don't have the personnel to do it, but it's something that's there, and I think it's something very workable with the county.
So,
Yes, sir.
so you're correct. The county did approve it yesterday at its meeting. How much did this pump cost, and where did
The
that
valve, it's
funding come
approximately
from?
about $300 roughly.
Okay.
It's about $300. It's not very expensive.
So it's something that
That we've had all along. It's just we don't have the
we've had it.
personnel. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
It's
just we haven't been able to install it.
Great.
But I think it's vital, and I think this is the right time to do it. And it'll prevent a lot of issues in that area there.
And Ronnie, once the work is completed, is this something that you'll inspect, I guess?
And, I mean, I guess they're
because we're gonna be releasing them of any and all liabilities, so, I mean, we wanna make sure that it works.
it's just is it a sluice valve, up and down?
Yeah, it's an up and down valve. What we do need to is put an extension up around where we can just open it from up here instead of going all the way down.
City will be doing that?
Pardon?
When it rains, the city will be
We will
opening
be
and
opening
closing
it,
it?
yes. We do not want our residents going out there and closing it and opening it the way they're doing it now. We're gonna control it. It's just what I'm afraid of is that we go in there and don't do the right thing or use the proper equipment, the proper equipment, and with the pressure, with the overflow of the canal and the water that's there, I'm afraid they just pop up or whatever. So I'm looking for help from the Hidalgo County so that make sure it's properly set up, and then we can take care of it from there.
So the work is going to be in kind? There's
Yes.
no exchange of funds
No
at
exchange of
all?
nothing, Mayor. We're just going to provide the materials that is needed. And the most expensive is the overflow, which we already have.
Are there any other questions?
Motion to
Not-
approve is presented?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Item D, discussion and possible action on the retirement of K-9 Officer Chili. Ms. Gonzalez.
Mayor, Commissioner, I hate to bring this up because it's very undignified that we are putting a K-9 officer as salvage property. Unfortunately, the law says that we have to do it this way. He was purchased, and he's also insured as property. The staff is asking to retire Officer Chili. He was purchased in 2007, and he has been serving as a drug enforcement officer until the end of this month. It was recommended by the veterinarian that he be retired because he's got wear on his teeth, he's losing his stamina, and he has the signs of arthritis. He has a problem climbing in and out of vehicles. Staff is recommending that we go ahead and retire him, and if possible, award him to one of his training officers to house him because, I thought about it at first. I thought, well, this is just a dog, but he's somebody's family also. He's been trained by 2 officers, and one of them is willing to take the canine in. The other thing is that Officer Chili, he's an officer, and I know it was very hard for the chief, and I know it's very hard for the police officers to have to bring the canine this way as a salvage property.
And that's what you mean by it, not that we would be expiring the...
No.
Now, when you say that you would be awarded, can he be given to any nonprofit that use dogs for...
Normally what municipalities and school districts do when they do have a canine officer such as this is they develop a bond with their trainer. And it's not really a trainer, it's their partner, because both the dog and the canine officer are commissioned officers, they're partners. And so they develop a bond, and that's why it's usually and normally done to where the canine officer himself is allowed to retire with his partner or with one of the partners that he's worked with during the course of his career, because of that bond and that camaraderie that they've already formed.
And is there an interest to do that by the officers that work with them?
And I also found out too, that I asked the captain, and he made a good point. He says you don't want to place the canine in a home where he's going to be sniffing for drugs and, you know, other property. And this animal has been with the trainer for 7 years now.
I see.
And it's like taking one of your children and putting them, you know, out of their home. I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it.
And so there is interest, and they're willing to take care
Yes.
of
Yes.
Chile.
Mayor, if I may, I think this is one of the opportunities that the canine handlers themselves bond with those canines, and obviously this canine has brought hundreds of thousands of dollars and probably millions of dollars or so to this city, and I think that it's time, you know, because of medical reasons that that's going to be retired. We do plan to have a ceremony for this canine next week, so the mayor and commission are invited. We're going to invite the public as well. And these are very special canines because, like the city attorney mentions, the fact that they can only work with the people that worked with them before. So these officers, there's 3 officers that actually have interest in having him. But, you know, that's another discussion that I'm going to have with the captain, because all the 3 officers that were canine handlers want to keep him. But I think that it's going to be something that it's very appreciative that they still care for the canine themselves. And we have no doubt that we're going to sign probably an agreement with the officer to make sure that canine is not used in any way, shape, or form that will place the city or the department in any litigation whatsoever. So, but I do appreciate Ms. Carmen bringing this to the commission. But you know, as like what she said, as per law, we have to put it on the agenda and classify it as such. So.
Are there any other questions?
Do we need to, in the motion, Counselor, do we need to state anything other than
accepting the retirement?
Accepting the retirement. Okay.
Is there a motion?
Motion to accept the retirement of Officer Chile.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. Consider preliminary and final plat approval of the Comanche subdivision Phase 1, being a 5.48 acre tract of land out of Lot 49 stored addition to the Conway Gardens of San Juan subdivision located at 1,280 feet south of Dicker Road along the west side of Stewart Road, as requested by Sam Engineering and Surveying, Inc. Mr. Cervantes.
Yes, the applicant is proposing to subdivide 5.48 acres into a 1-lot industrial subdivision. The property was recently rezoned to light industrial district in order to build a cold storage facility for produce. The property is located within Military Highway Water Supply Corporation's CCN for water. There is no sanitary sewer available at this time, and the proposed cold storage facility will need to use an on-site sewage facility that meets the TCEQ standards and Hidalgo County health standards. It is noted that the project engineer is requesting a variance to not have to connect to the city sanitary sewer system based on the fact that the nearest available sewer is located several thousand feet north of the proposed development. During their October 30th meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the preliminary and final plat and granting the variance request with a 5-0 vote.
Are there any questions?
Motion to approve as presented.
Is there a second? Who was it?
That was a second.
Okay. Commissioner Suarez. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Passes. Thank you, Mr. Cervantes. Consent agenda, approval of minutes, October 24th, 2014, regular meeting. And Mr. Rodriguez, I'm going to tender the corrections to you. Is there a motion for approval?
Motion to approve as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Under executive session, the City of San Juan Commission will now convene in executive session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Section Vernon's Texas Statutes Codes Annotated Government Code, Chapter 551, Subchapter D, exceptions to requirement that the meeting be open with the Texas Government Code, Section 551.074A, Personnel Matters, and Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with attorney. A, to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, dismissal of a public officer, employee, city manager position applicants. And B, consultation with the city attorney regarding litigation, contemplated litigation, and settlement offers in Re JM EEOC 31C2014000683, FEPA at 1S14672. We will now enter executive session at 8:57. Open session on items, on executive session A, to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, and reassignment of duties, discipline, or dismissal of public officer, city manager position at what time, Mr.? What time? 9:43. Is there a motion to authorize Ms. Cordero to proceed as directed in executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B, consultation with city attorney regarding litigation, contemplated litigation, and settlement offers in Re JM EEOC 31C 2014-00683 FEPA 1S14672.
Mayor, members of the commission, I recommend a motion authorizing me to proceed as I recommended in executive session.
There was a motion by, council was asking for a motion and making a recommendation. Is there a motion?
No, we're not supposed to discuss the amount, but.
As I present, that's what I'm saying, as I recommend.
Not as I recommend.
Well, as I recommended, yes, as I recommended.
As council recommended.
Council recommended.
Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Come on.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
The meeting is adjourned at what time,
Yeah, I know.
Mr. Rodriguez? What time? 9:45.
Oh.